G'day video team. Super exciting announcement for you today. We've done a lot of work obviously in this room, which I'm sitting in is the video room. You can tell by the terrible wall behind me. But there's continuing work for the video team, continuing gear, continuing training, continuing people coming into the team. So it's actually a super exciting time to be part of the video team at Nexus. And I'm really thankful for everything that you do, everything that you add to the team. I think we really wouldn't have gotten through this COVID situation without you guys. Church literally would not happen. So I guess just to start with, thank you. And let's continue learning and gaining knowledge and gaining experience and learning how to communicate better and all these things that we want to do. I know that Pastor Nathan really appreciates you all as well. And I guess kind of capitalizing on some of those things, as well as the announcement recently that the hubs are continuing indefinitely. I've really pressed hard into Nathan to different ways that we can continue to improve our live stream experience. And one of those things is just with more cameras, right? Like we've got camera 1 and we've got camera 2, and that's fine, but I think we're starting to reach the point, I'm certainly feeling that we're reaching the point where our shots are kind of samey. It's a bit more like just day-to-day operation. We're not quite able to be creative in the way that we would like. And so I've really wanted to open up some opportunity for growth in those ways. And one of the ways that I've proposed of doing that to Nathan, which is approved, is with the purchase of 3 PTZ cameras and a controller. So what this means is, if you don't know what a PTZ camera is, it is a small robotically controlled camera that has pan, so left to right, tilt up and down, and zoom, which is obviously zoom, to make PTZ cameras. So they are all controlled by this little box here, which you'll see on this camera here. So this little controller here is part of a package deal that we've got with 3 cameras, a controller, and I'm going to take you through a lot of the stuff here about what we need to get started. So first things first, this is a set of equipment from a company called Bird Dog. They've got a cute little logo here, which I'm sure you'll get to know. They make a range of cameras. We've purchased the P200 cameras, which are 30 times zoom, 1080p, and up to 60 FPS. So obviously we're currently shooting, our entire video setup is shooting in 1080i 5994, which is 1080i 60, which we then de-interlace to send out to the stream. So that's kind of our broad system. These cameras fit right into that. They connect via NDI for control and some video, although we're not using that. And they send out their video via SDI, and that SDI is just like native. So we don't need decimators or anything else like that to get these things connected. They can just plug straight into the wall. Now, I have set them up already with the help from Lockie and a bit of an assist from Simo the other day. And they are all, and Dave Riddell, of course. And they're all kind of ready to go right now. They're all working, and we're going to have a look at what that is right now. So, having a look at the controller. Remember, we have three cameras. So up here, up in the top left-hand corner, you'll see Cam 1. This is the camera that you are currently controlling. If we go across to Cam 2, we're now seeing Cam 2 there, and 3. Here it is. So I've set up these 3 function keys, F1, F2, and F3, to be camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Nice quick shortcut for you to switch between cameras as you're operating. Zoom, we can zoom with this little rocker here. So heading out wide for the wide shot, heading in tight to get in closer. So W and T, wide and tight, exactly as you'd expect. The other big control is the pan and tilt joystick. So that's this one here. Obviously pan and tilt exactly like you would with a joystick. It's very, very intuitive, very easy to use, and we'll have a look at how how that goes a little bit sooner. Now, one option is you can also zoom with the joystick by twisting. I think this is one of the things we're going to play with. Maybe we'll disable this, maybe we won't. Because we've got the zoom on the rocker, I feel that's probably more natural. Anyway, so a few other controls. You can adjust how quickly you pan and tilt with these encoders up here. So you can turn down the pan tilt speed and you can turn up and down the zoom speed as well. So as you do that, the camera is going to move much more slowly based on where these are sitting. So we're going to have a play with these and work out what works for us in certain situations. All of this is going to need experimenting, and I think that's kind of one of the most fun things, is just playing around with this kind of stuff to find something that works really well and kind of enhances everything else that we're doing in the video team and within the creative team. So yeah, the other two things that we'll touch on. I won't talk about white balance right now because I'm just going to get these matched to our current setup and leave them there for the moment. White balance is something that is very, very complex on these machines, and we can maybe go into more depth later. But two operations that you need to know: iris and shutter. So iris is up here on the left-hand corner, and it's a pretty fine control. So we're gonna have to get used to that. You'll see the first time that you use it, it's a very you turn it that much and it makes a difference. So anyway, and then focus. This is a much more broad control. Works exactly like you would expect on a regular camera, near and far. So as you rack that focus back and forward, nearer to you or further away from you, obviously it's going to adjust that camera. So the last thing that I want to touch on quickly is just green go. Comms will be set up like any other camera operator. You'll have contact with the switcher, with the video team, and with the service producer, exactly as if you would be in camera 1 and 2. So that's kind of the controller. There's a bunch more stuff that this can do, but let's start simple. I'm actually going to set up a bunch of presets where you'll be able to just shoot quickly to certain places within the auditorium based on feel. So we'll probably mostly be using presets to start with, and so stay tuned for that. Why don't we have a look at how these cameras look in terms of the Blackmagic video switcher? So I'm going to set up over there. Okay, well here we are at video switching station with all our Blackmagic gear and the computer and all that. Hopefully this is a fairly familiar space to you now, and you kind of understand how this operates in a basic way. So let's have a look at how these PTZ cameras are going to work. You'll see in this kind of weird camera angle, you can see sort of the vMix machine, you can see a bit of the previews, and you can also see a bit of the screens up there. So first camera that I want to point out is the one that is mounted in the very center of the rear of the auditorium. This is going to replace that little handy cam that has been there as our main audience, main auditorium wide shot. Super important that for that camera to stay basically where it is all of the time. This is your only eyes into the auditorium as a whole. And so you can see up in this shot here, and also down here on camera 6 at the moment, that I've set that camera just to be as wide as we can, taken as much of the auditorium, including the screens, so that we can really see from this location, from Multi, from PTZ, what that space is actually looking like, who's moving up on stage, who's moving down off stage, and really predict those shots. So that's that one. Then camera 3 and camera 4, these are our new PTZ cameras. Camera 1 and camera 2 are our tripods with the JVCs on it. Camera 3 and camera 4 are those cameras there. Now, there's some color work that needs to happen, but you can kind of see how these 4 shots right here are going to start integrating to create an entire service look. So by the time we get, it's a little bit hard while I'm here by myself, but by the time we get some camera movement on camera 1, some camera movement on camera 3 and some camera movement on camera 4, we'll be able to get some really nice dynamic shots. So we're not going to spend too much time here, just to say that's kind of how it's going to work together. You'll have 4 main cameras, and you'll be able to switch between them as you require. So hopefully that should give you a lot more options for various shots as like instrumentalists do solo pieces. You might be able to switch to a PTZ shot of that. You might even be able to switch to like a wider shot of a bit more of the crowd off one of the PTZs. So lots and lots of opportunities there. The main thing that I want to get out of these 2 new cameras on the wings is really tracking a preacher's movement. So by that I mean, as they're looking down the center of the auditorium, they're basically, for the most part, looking down the barrel of the main camera. As they start to move off axis and look over here, what ends up happening is on the stream, your eyes are looking at the side of their head. So what we've done now is placed a camera at that shot to get that front view. Same with the other side. As you start to move across here and talk to this side of the auditorium, we want to pick up that shot as well. And hopefully that will mean that audience engagement in the online space and in the hubs with our preaching in particular should improve dramatically. And it's going to take a while to get used to, I recognize that, but let's just really give it a go, make it as good as we can. And I think it's really exciting. So yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to run you through. When you're in person, I'm not going to go outside and show you the cameras themselves, where they are, because that will become immediately obvious. But when you're here, get in there, have a play with them, and let's make our services kind of pop to that next little level. Cool. All right. See ya.